value of money. What comes to your mind when you see the terms? Time, value of money, time, value of money. The four words. Time, value of money. For what? What comes to your mind, class? What comes to your mind, Karen? Influence. What comes to your mind? Good. All right. At any given point, class, you see these words, the time value of money. Know that is where financial management is laid. It is the background of what? Financial management. Time value of money is the background, the skeleton of financial management. Through this concept, we are able to know how much we invest today so that in the next 5 or 6 years, we have a lump sum of a certain amount of money. Through this concept, we are able to know what is the future value of a certain cash flow today. What is the value of that cash flow today through this concept? It is good to state that you cannot sit for any FM paper of financial management, may it be advanced financial management or the intermediate financial management. You cannot sit without this concept. So it is paramount for you to understand the concept of what? Time value of money. Time value of money. We need to know what is the present value of a certain cash flow, what is the future value of a certain cash flow. But you cannot get that. You cannot get that without knowing some of the concept behind it. Some of the concept behind it. So in short, when you talk about time value of money, we are simply saying that the worth of money that we have today will be less tomorrow. I take you back to maybe some few years back, maybe say 20 years back. That would be 1990s, right? One shilling was worth something. What about today? If you have a child, give them 1 shilling. Will they accept? Can you talk to me? If you have a child of your, or if you are an uncle to a certain child, will they accept 1 shilling? Definitely no, because it is valueless. Currently, we can say that the type of money or the value of 1 shilling is equal to 0. 1 shilling. It is valueless. You can buy nothing with 1 shilling. You can buy nothing. So, in real definition of concept of the time value of money, we say that the value of 1 shilling today, the value of 1 shilling today is worth more than the value of the same shilling tomorrow. So when you talk of the present today, that means if, for instance, somebody owes you money, it is always good for that person to pay you money as soon as possible, because as they stay with that money, the money is losing what? The money is losing value. The money is losing value. We have several techniques. We have several types of methods, or we have several types of cash flow that is direct, or we don't go in that route. Let's go with the route of we have regular and irregular cash flow. We have 2 types of cash flow, regular and irregular cash flow. There's a way you can discount those. There's a way you can compound those cash flow by help of a certain factor under which the concept is laid at. So in short, you can say that under the concept of time value of money, it states that the value of 1 shilling today The value of 1 shilling today is worth more than 1 shilling tomorrow. 1 shilling tomorrow. The value of 1 shilling today is worth more than 1 shilling tomorrow. It means that if I have 1,000 shilling today and I go to the supermarket, the amount of items that I'm going to purchase using 1,000 is not the same as the amount I'll get tomorrow if I use the same 1,000, because the value will have reduced. Who can give me some of the reasons why money reduces its value? Who can give me some of the reasons? We can mention 2 or 3 reasons why money value reduces. Why do you think the value of money reduces? Can I get some response from you? Why do you think? What will make the value to go down? John telling us that inflation is one of the factors that will lead to money value declining or going down, depreciating. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Another point of the reason or the factor that leads to the reduction of value, to take advantage of cash discount. Margaret atuambia to take advantage of cash discount. That's Margaret. That's Margaret. That's Margaret. To take advantage of investment opportunity. Okay, I can see now where Margaret is taking us. Margaret, what you're telling us now, it is the time preference for money. Sawa, Margaret. Time preference for money. Now, those are the reasons for time preference for money. Whatever that Margaret is trying to tell us there is the reason for time preference of money. When do you require that money? Or why do you require that money now? Why do you require that money now? Are you getting? Why do you require that money now? It is because of maybe there is an investment that you want to pick up very fast. And if you don't have that money, that opportunity will pass. So you need that money today. And that's why I've told you that it is always good to make sure that those people who owe you, let them pay you very fast. We say that if they're not paying you now, let them pay you right now. So after this class, if there's anyone who owe you some money, kindly call them, remind them that they should send you something. So they should send you something. As a financial management student, as a manager, you need to know that the value of the money will reduce. The value of the money will decrease as time goes by. As time goes by. There'll come a time that 5 shillings, will be useless. 5 shillings. Nowadays it's not useless. You can get one what? One tropical sweet, right? With 5 bob, right? There'll come a time that 5 shillings will be useless. As we go by, maybe in 10 years' time, 10 shillings will be useless because of inflation. So you can see somebody giving us the interest rate. Yes, the interest rate, that will also be a factor of why the value of money will reduce. Now, under this topic class, this is a topic, in fact, this topic number 4 in your syllabus. You'll find that you have types of cash flow that you'll be dealing with. The types of cash flow that you'll be dealing with. And the first one is irregular cash flow. You'll be dealing with the irregular cash flows and regular cash flow. In simple terms, you're saying that irregular cash flow stands for non-uniform what? Non-uniform cash flow. Non-uniform cash flow. And here we have uniform what? Uniform cash flow. Uniform cash flow. So for the non-uniform cash flow, these are cash flow which are not similar. If I have investment or the cash flow for a certain project that is going for 5 years, and each year I'm getting different cash flow. For example, year 1, I'm getting 1,000. Year 2, I'll get maybe 3,000 cash flow. Year 3, I get a different figure. Year 4, I can repeat and get 1,000 because it can fluctuate at any given point. That is the cash flow we call irregular cash flow. Cash flow which are not similar. The cash flow which are not similar. So if I want to get the present value of such type of cash flow, if I want to get the present value of such type of cash flow, I'm going to do what? To discount. I'm going to discount. I'll show you how. If I want to get the future value of such type of cash flow, I'm going to do what? To compound. At any given point, if you want to get the future value, you discount, you compound. If you want to get the present value, you discount. The same case apply when we are dealing with what? When we are dealing with a regular cash flow. And for the regular cash flow, as the name suggests, these are uniform cash flow. Uniform cash flow. These are cash flow which are uniform every year. Even if we have 10 years, we have 12,000. Each year, we are having a cash flow of what? 12,000. So if we want to get the future value or the present value of the same, we discount using what? The given rate. We compound using what? The given rate. And it will also depend on the rate and the information given with by the examiner. Information given by the examiner. So we have two techniques that we shall be using under these techniques. We have two techniques that we shall be using under this. And the first one, it is a discounting technique. Discounting technique. And the second one, it is compounding what? Compounding technique. These are very important. It's a very important technique. It's a very important techniques. As far as financial management and time value of money is concerned, every student is expected to understand the two. And today I want us to, first of all, get the definition of the two, and then we shall measure on discounting technique. Today I want us to measure on discounting technique. So discounting technique, simply, it is a process of converting the future value of cash flow into present. The process of converting the future value of cash flow into present. So we want to determine the present value of a certain cash flow, the present value of a certain cash flow, by the help of what? A discounting factor. By the help of a discounting factor. So class, it is good to note that under this you'll be having an annuity and a lump sum. An annuity and a lump sum. On the category of annuity, you're going to discount using PV factor. You're going to discount annuity using PV annuity. Annuity. Discount using discount annuity. PV. This simply, it is the present value interest factor of what? Annuity. Interest factor of annuity. Annuity cash flow, in this case, you can say annuity cash flow or similar cash flow. The cash flow which are similar, uniform cash flow. So, uniform cash flow. We shall discount using this factor. We shall discount using this factor. For the lump sum, on an uniform cash flow or irregular cash flow, we shall use PV, present value interest factor. So we don't have the annuity section here. That's the only difference. So what is the formula of PV? The formula of these PV. Formula of PV class will be given by 1 minus 1 plus R raised to power negative N divided by what? Divided by R. This is golden. This is golden. 1 plus r raised to power negative what? N. Why are we using a negative n? Because we are coming to present. So we are coming from future. I hope you remember the number line. The number line that you used to draw. Coming from future, you're coming back to present. So that's why we use a negative. You'll say that in compounding, we don't put a negative here when we are compounding. And it is always good to differentiate between a cash flow that we need to compound or discount. It is always important because once you mess here, you're down. So at this point, the formula of PVFA is this. The formula of PVFA is this. And now, how do we get the present value of annuity? When I mention annuity, it is the uniform what? Uniform cash flow. To get that class, you take the future value. Some people can give you the future value of the amount times the PVFA. That is very important. And then this PVFA, it is R%. That is the rate, and N years. R%, N years. R%, N years. So in short, present value is given by future value times our PVFA is 1 minus 1 plus R raised to power negative N divided by what? Divided by R. Where PV, it is the present value. FV, it is the future value, of course, of cash flow. Future value of cash flow. Future value. R, it is the rate of return. Sometimes examiner, we call it the cost of capital. Sawa. The rate of return. Then we have N, number of period. Number of what? Number of period. Number of period. Or number of years. Number of years. That is in the possession of getting the present value of what? The present value of regular cash flow or the uniform cash flow. Call it annuity. Maybe before we move to the lump sum, I'd like to give you just a hypothetical example, an example here, to make you understand what we mean. So in this case, I have, or maybe consider a project. Consider a project with the following cash flow. Consider a project with the following cash flow. Take 12% as the rate of return. Rate of return. Take 12% as the rate of what? Rate of return. So in this case, we have year here, and we have the cash flow. So year 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Those are the cash flow for the project. Those are the cash flow for the project. So if I look at these years, the cash flow is the same. If I look at year 1 to year 4, we have similar cash flow. Then examiner asks you, determine the total present value of the project. Determine the total present value of the project. Determine the total present value of the project. This is very good. This is very good. We need to determine the total present value of the project. So class, as we start the semester, I'd like you to embrace these model of starting with a formula. Present value is equal to future value times 1 or PV, you can say PV, R squared and years, which is translated as present value is equal to future value times 1 minus 1 plus R raised to power negative n divided by what? Divided by R. Divided by R. Divided by R. The cash flows given here, if the examiner wants you to determine the present value, these cash flow are assumed to be what? Future what? Future cash flow. Future cash flow. So this will be given by 10,000 times 1 minus 1.12. Kuna mtu hajajua nimepata wapi 12. Let's put negative what? How many years do we have? We have 4 years and then divide by 0.12. 0.12. In most cases, you'll be given a table. In the last page of your question paper, Advanced Financial Management and Financial Management, you'll be given a table to help you get what? The annuity. We call them the annuity table. So at this point, I want us to use the calculator. So I'll be having 10,000 times. What is this? What is our PV? What is our PV? You can just press it the way it is in your calculator. 1 minus 1.12. Of course, this should be in brackets. Then you raise to power negative 4. Then whatever that you get, please divide by 0.12. What are you getting? I'd like to know how much you're getting so that we're able to multiply that with our 10,000 and we will be done. So how much are you getting? How much are you getting? Patangapi. We try to 1 minus 1.12 raised to power negative 4. Divide by 0.12. Are you guys getting what I'm getting? Are you guys getting what I'm getting? I'm getting 3 point something. Let me see. I have to open this automatic chart so that I'm able. Current is getting 3.0373. That is it. 3.0373. And because here is 10,000, I just have to do what? I just have to align my zeros towards the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll be having 3374, 3374, 73, sorry, 373, 3373. This will be my what? My total present value. Thank you so much, Dorcas. Thank you so much, Dorcas. Asante. Now, this will be our total present value. Maybe if examiner proceed and tells you that if the initial outlay or the initial investment of the project, if the initial investment of the project was 20,000, determine the net present value. Determine the net present value, NPV. Now here, examiner wants you to make a decision. To make a decision and to be able to advise the investor. You'll be able even to advise who? The investor. And that is the importance of financial management. Of course, it is this concept that will help you to do what? To make a decision. So in this case, examiner wants you to represent or give the NPV. How do we get the NPV? To get the net present value, we take the total present value minus the initial what? Initial outlay. We can call it initial outlay or the initial investment. So, this investment happened at the year zero, Before you start the project, the initial investment will always happen. The initial investment or this cost will always be incurred. So for us to get the net present value of this project, you just take 3373 minus 10, 20,000. And this one, you give me 10,373. This is a positive NPV. What is our decision? What is our decision to the investor? Is this project viable or not? Is this project profitable or not? NPV will always help you to appraise the project. It will always help you to appraise the project. This project NPV is positive, and therefore it tells that the project is profitable. At any given point, you get a negative NPV, that project is not profitable. And you advise the investor not to undertake such a project. So it will be a measure of what? Of profitability. A measure of profitability. Under capital budgeting, we shall be able to look at all these, the project appraisal techniques or the investment appraisal techniques. Sawa. So at this point, you advise the investor to proceed to invest in such type of a project. To invest in such type of a project. Because that's just an example of how you're supposed to do what? How you are supposed to get the total present value of what? Of annuity. Is there any question before we proceed? Is there any question before we proceed? Or else? Are we together up to that point? Are we together up to that point? Are we together? Tuko pamoja hadi pale. So for the new student who are using the Zoom for the first time, Y for yes is enough for me. Y for yes. Y to represent yes. Our communication is very simple. Y stand for yes, N stand for no, and then we see how we can assist each other. So are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Great. I can see that we are together up to that point. Great. Class, allow me to move to the next part, whereby we shall look at the lump sum or the irregular cash flow. Allow us to move to the next step, whereby we shall look at the irregular cash flow. If the cash flow are not the same, how do we get the total present value? If the cash flows are not the same, how do we get what? The total present value. The required rate of return is 13% per annum, and the cash flows are as follows. So we have year, we have the cash flow, and then I've remembered something. I'll mention that. So we have 5 years here. Sometimes examiner will give you cash flow which seems or which looks like similar cash flow, whereby one of the cash flow or one of the year, the cash flow is different from the rest, but the others are similar. For example, if I eliminate my 2,000 here, and replace with 7,000, I know most of the students will term that as regular cash flow because we only have one item, 1 year, which does not rhyme with the rest. No, if one item does not rhyme with the rest, it terms all those cash flow to be irregular cash flow. So like my case here, these cash flow are irregular. These are irregular cash flow. In this case, if I'm dealing with the irregular cash flow, the first thing that I want to put here is the factor that I'm going to use. I'm going to use PV, and the rate is 13%. It is always good to show the examiner what you are doing in this case. So we are going to use PV 13%. At the back of my mind, I know the formula of PV, that to get the present value of irregular cash flow, it is the same as future value times 1 plus R raised to what? Negative n, raised to negative n. For this case, we don't have divide. We don't have division here. And because I have my future value, all these are my future value. From year 1 to year 5, those are my future value. Whatever that I don't have is my factor, is my PV. So I need to get my PV here so that by the end of the day, in my last column here, I'll be able to get my discounted what? Discounted cash flow. Once I get my discounted cash flow, somebody to tell me, somebody to guide me here and remind me what should I do to all these discounted cash flow so that I get my total present value. I'll be getting the discounted cash flow for year 1, for year 2, for year 3, for year 4, and for year 5. At the end of the day, since I want to get the total present value of this project, the same project, this one project, I want to get the total present value. I'm going to do the cumulative of all those what? Discounted cash flow for each year. Discounted cash flow for each year. So I'd like somebody to give me the PV for year 1. The PV for year 1. Of course, you know the rate and you can see that here. And all the discounts, yes, you add all of them. Asante sana Dorcas. Thank you so much, Dorcas Joroge. Dorcas Joroge. Asante. You add all of them. Summation. So somebody to give me to 4 decimal places. If you're using a calculator, always use 4 BP. Decimal places. 4 decimal places. 4 decimal places. If you're using a calculator, so you round off, You round off. If the fifth letter or the 5th digit is 5 or more than 5, you round off. Don't fail to do that. So give me the first one. It will be, of course, I know these are 0 point. For the annuity is whereby we expect a whole number. So once you understand that when you are dealing with the annuity, you expect a whole number, it will become easier for you. So can you give me the first one here? If you have the calculator, just input the formula. 1.13, because my rate is 13%, raised per negative 1. Don't forget the negative. We give us the first one. Ya kwanza. I don't want to do it because once I do it, some people will be left behind. And I don't want that. So give me the first one. 0 point. 0 point. Just say, you're just looking at this. Because already these ones, this is future value, this is. So you just need this one. So that we multiply later, you get this. 88. So it is 8850. 8850. 8850. The second one, I think now, if you understand the concept, the second one will be 1.13 raised to power what? Raised to power negative 2. I'm getting 7831. You guys, you can confirm for me 7831. It is reducing. Tend I can reduce. Thank you for confirming. 13 raised to power what? Negative 3. That one 6931. 6931. Just continue confirming. That's very good. Then 1.13 raised to power negative 4. I'm getting 6133. 0.6133. And for those people who don't have a calculator, I urge you to be carrying your calculator even at your workplace. Let it be in your what? In your bag. As well, if you have a laptop, you can use your Excel. Watu wangu. You can use your Excel. Hizi vitu ziko pale. Inakuwa 5428. Tunamaliza 5428. That is it. So those are our factor, the discounting factor. So for us to get the discounted cash flow, you just get the cash flow times what? The factor for each year. So let's get the first one. It will be 7,000 times 0.8850. So we shall be confirming whether we are getting 6195. Now for those people who have the phone, can use your phone as well. 0.7831. Oops. Give me the second one. Calculator wants to start misbehaving here, giving me different 2,000 times. Give me the second one. I want you guys to give me the second one. 0.7831. Ya pili mnapata nini? Ya pili mnapata nini? 1566.2. 1566. Asante. 0.2. Ya tatu, pati ya tatu, asante. Ya tatu, let me get it from you. If possible, we do it very fast. We finish up, then we address something else. The third one, this times this. 4852. 4852. Aya, ya nne. 5,000 times 0.516133. How much are you getting, class, for this one? 3067. You're getting 3067. 3067. And the last one is how much? The last one ni ngapi? The last one ni ngapi? Ya mwisho. Pati ya mwisho tukisonga. Ben, you're very silent. Anna, Carbin. Don't be very silent. Need to hear your presence. Tupate ya mwisho. This times this. 3,800. We're getting 3,800. And then to get our total present value, class, you just do the summation of all these. Just do the summation of all these. Just add. That will be your total what? Total present value. So, ni 3799.6. Oh, asha round off, asha round off. Akasema kwamba, sayo, kama ni just round off. All right, no worries. 3,800 sawa, 3799.6 sawa, no worries. No call for alarm there. No call for alarm there. So can you add all of them? What's the total now? What's the total now? The total now. Okay, the total present value 19,480. 19,480. And class, let's assume that the 20,000 still remain to be our initial outlay. The 20,000 still remain to be our initial outlay. An examiner wanted us to get the NPV. So NPV will be 19,480 minus 20,000. Minus 20,000 using the formula of total present value minus what? Initial outlay or initial investment. So what is our net present value in that project? What is our net present value in that project? Of course, can see a negative somewhere. Ingapi? Is it 620? 620 or 520? 520, yeah? 520, 520, 520. You know, as a financial analyst, if somebody asks you now, what should we do? Somebody brings you cash flow for different project, maybe project ABC, and then ask you to maybe advise them. You do is you first of all analyze in that case. Now, in this case, we tell this guy not to invest in such project, not to invest in such project. And if they proceed and invest in such a project, they are going to do what? To get loss, to get losses. They are going to get losses. They are going to get losses. So in that case, you advise them not to do what? You tell them that the project is not viable and therefore they should not invest in such a project. That's how you make decisions. That's how you make decisions. That's how we make decision. That's how we make decision. That's how we make decision. Good. Now, in our next session, or in our next step, we shall be looking at the ranges. The ranges. In our next session, we shall be looking at the ranges. Shall be looking at the ranges. Where the examiner gives you cash flow For example, examiner give you cash flow for year 1, year 2 to 4, 5, hapana kupatia year 6 to 8, hapana kupatia 9, mwingine anakuja kupatia 10 to infinite. Sawa? Cash flow, these types of cash flow. Umepewa cash flow in that form. Kuja nakwambia sasa cash flow zako year 1 ni 1,000, year 2 ni 2,000, hii ni 1,000 as well, hii ni 5,000, hii ni 1,000, na hii ni 7,000. For example, if someone asks you which type of cash flow are those, what will you say? Mtu amekuja amekuuliza which type of cash flows are those? Nasema nini? Range or rare? Ranges. Range. Yeah, in ranges. Range. In a range. Unasema aje? Sema aje, Dorcas? Range. Ranges. Range. Rares. Yeah. Race. Range in numbers. Range in numbers. Range. Unaulizwa unataka salary ya ngapi? Si huwa tuna advise you give a range. 100 to 150,000. Sio ni range. Oh. Okay. Now you understand. Asante. Ranges. So which type of cash flows are those? Which type of cash flows are those? Which type of cash flows are those? Somebody give it a trial. Umepatana nayo kwa mtihani na umeambiwa determine the total present value and the net present value of the such project. Utafanya namna gani? Because the first thing, the initial step in tackling such questions is to identify the type of cash flow that you are dealing with. You identify the type of cash flow that you are dealing with. That is the first step, the initial step. Now I want somebody to tell me which type of cash flow are those. Ben, kuna watu hapa wamenyamaza sana. Maybe once we mention their names, they'll be able to feel triggered. Let's trigger them. Damaris, Frida, Gloria, Inflix, Kezia, Rain, Margaret, Michael, Pamela, Rahaba, Fresh, Ruben, Vincent, Jameni, where are you guys? Just give it a try. Which type of cash flow are those? The first glance. Which types of cash flows are those? Okay. From Karen. Karen telling us irregular cash flow. That's Karen. That's according to her. Anna still irregular cash flow. Irregular cash flow. Gentlemen, where are you? Gentlemen, today you've said ladies first. They have already expressed themselves. Gentlemen, which types of cash flow are those? Which types of cash flow are those? As you contemplate the types of cash flow, as you contemplate the types of cash flow that we have here, as you contemplate the type of cash flow that you have here, allow me to pass the good news to you that we have introduced PFT in the early morning. A good news, Ruben, representing the gentleman, telling us that irregular cash flow, still agreeing with the readers there. Now, so far, we have 3 units in the early morning: financial management, financial reporting, and PFT. The 3 units. Charges remain 4,800. I know you guys, some of you are waiting for exam, right? The August sitting, right? Some of you are waiting for the results. You know our Paybill. This is per unit. account, unit name, you abbreviate. The abbreviation of the unit name, it will be okay. Abbreviation of the unit name. Abbreviation of the unit name. So if you wish now to do those units in the early morning, 5 a.m. 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. You'll be able to do what? To get the 3 units. Kumbuka kwamba the rest are in the evening. Still, FM, FR, PFT are also found in the evening. So depending on your schedule, you can choose either. But what I wanted you to note is that we have FM, FR, and PFT in the what? God willing, we can introduce another one, maybe MA, company law, where that the early morning student will be having the full package. You know, there are those students who are not able to attend evening session. They work with videos only. And we need you to have that experience of interaction with Mwalimu, the live interaction with Mwalimu, whereby you can ask a question. You get the feedback instantly. So we shall continue introducing the early morning session so that you get the advantage of what? Of attending if you're not able to attend the evening session. So I see that most students are telling us that these type irregular cash. There's a time examiner tested such a question. It was a 5-mark question, and most students failed. I can say 99% of the students failed. 99% of the students failed there. Why? Because of saying that these cash flow are irregular. They say that the cash flow are irregular. No. In solving such a question, class, it calls for looking at both columns. Look at the year column, look at the cash flow column. So if I look at the year column, this year 1 has a standalone cash flow of 1,000. Year 5 standalone cash flow of 1,000, and year 9 standalone cash flow of 1,000. Those are standalone cash flows. Year 2 to 4, that's a range. It's a range. From year 2 to year 4, we are having a cash flow of 2,000. What does that translate to? It translates to year 2 being a separate year with year 3 and year 4. We have 2,000 as the cash flow. So if I open up these, year 2, that is year 2, 3, 4. I'll be having a cash flow of 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. So for this range, it's giving me a cash flow of 2,000 each year. So this is a regular what? Is it visible today? Regular cash flow. It's visible. Regular cash flow. So these fall under regular cash flow. Class, are we together? Can you see where the difference comes in? Can you see where the difference comes in? Are you able to see that? Able to see that? That now for this range, year 2 to 4, we are having a cash flow of 2,000, and that 2,000 is found in year 2, year 3, and year 4. That's similar cash flow. The same case will apply to year 6 to 8, 5,000. So when treating such type of cash flow, when you want to get the present value of such type of cash flow, you need to incorporate both factors. You're going to incorporate the factor of PV. That one, you're going to discount the cash flow that are standalone. Or the standalone cash flow. This. You discount using the PV. For the cash flow that are similar, you use the PV, but the rate remain the same. For example, in this case, if I give you the rate of 15%, you can go and attempt the rate being 15%. You can go and attempt getting the total present value of that project. You get the total present value of that project. At the end of the day, you'll find that once you get either PV or PVFA, you'll be having another column here, like this, with PV into bracket, work A, PVFA. So, of course, the percentage will be 15%. You realize that for the PV, you'll have its own PV here, the factor here. For the PVFA, you also have its own PVFA, but you need to incorporate the previous year. For example, we now elaborate here a bit. Let me elaborate here. In case you need to call to talk to us, kindly contact this number, 0793 555,000. For more inquiries, you can contact that number. Alternatively, once you get that number, it's busy, you can contact 19 525,000. Those two ladies will be in a position to guide you and to help you understand more of what we offer, Now, we mentioned something here that you get to understand this small concept here. For example, I'll be having a column. Now, this is my column here. I have year. I have the cash flow. Now, I have the column of PV into bracket, PV for 15%. Sawa, that's stand for that. So for year one, I have no problem. I'll just use the 1 plus R raised to negative N. So I want somebody to give me that for year one. Haina shida. That one has no problem. It is okay. To 4 decimal point or places. Negative what? Negative 1. How much are you getting, guys? How much are you getting? I want to show you how you go about it. I want to show you how you go about it. I know people are now preparing to go back to work. It's almost 2. Anybody getting this? Anybody getting this? 86, 96, 86, 96. Good. Now, if you want to solve the PVFA for this range, year 2 to 4, this is what you'll do. You'll use the formula. You'll take PVFA 15%. 15%. How many years? 4 years. 4 years minus PVF 15% 1 year. Because you already have done what? You have included your 1 year here. But since already you have the PV for year 1, you eliminated from the total. This will give you the total. Once you compute this, you are getting the PV for the 4 years, the whole 4 years. You eliminate that of the first year because that already you had it. You had it. This will be simple. 1 minus 1.15 raised to power negative 4 divided by 0.15, and then whatever that you get here, class, whatever that you get here, I want to give you a hint here. You less what? 0.8696. Now the difference here, whatever that you get there now is what you bring here for the PV for year 2. Have you understood? Have you understood? Have you understood? So you're taking the whole. You eliminate the what? Whatever that we already had. The whole of it up to 4 years, yote. So when it comes to here, tunachukua ya miaka 8, PVFA for 8 years, and then we eliminate PVFA up to where we have the 5th year. Sasa, when we meet in our next lesson, we shall be able to complete this and touch on something under the compounding. But before I leave, I'd like to know whether there's, so those students who would like to study with us in the morning, do we have students who would like to study with us in the morning? Morning. Like tomorrow, you have financial reporting in the morning. So we have those students who wish to study in the morning. Kindly get in touch with our customer care, and you'll be guided accordingly. You'll be guided accordingly. You'll be guided accordingly. Yes, I can see it's 2:02, and that marked the end of our today's session. That marked the end of our today's session. And I cannot forget to thank you so much for having time to attend our today's session. I know it's a big sacrifice, and look forward to see you in class. I look forward to see you in class. I've been your lecturer, Stephen. Thank you so much, and may you have a blessed afternoon. May you have a blessed what? Afternoon. Goodbye. Goodbye. Asante, asante.